say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Please join me in thanking Henry Boyles and Solid Brass, Randy Rundin, for wonderful music renditions of our national anthem. Well, good evening. We wait always a long time for this evening. Last year at this time, many of you may remember, our faculty and staff, we didn't have our commencement when we were supposed to have our commencement. Weather didn't cooperate, and this morning, you probably hopped out of bed and said, uh-oh, it may not happen tonight either. But we are thrilled to be able to have it tonight, at the right time, at the right place. This is, as you know, our 15th commencement. This is a time that we celebrate what is best about the College of Southern Maryland, our graduates. Graduates, why don't you stand and be recognized as a group, please? Let's start off with you this year. Thank you. Please be seated. We did something a little bit different this year. We usually graduates are very happy to get their diplomas and their diploma covers, but everyone will also have a very nice picture frame courtesy of our Alumni Association, and the tagline is CSM Love, and that is our campaign for February. We love our graduates, we love our parents and friends, we love our faculty and staff, but especially we love our graduates. So hopefully you'll put your photograph from tonight in the frame and remember us because of it. I will, by the way, I'm Brad Gottfried. I'm the president of the College of Southern Maryland. I'm very proud to occupy this position. And it is my great pleasure to introduce some distinguished guests that are with us this evening. I'm going to start with our platform party. It's going to go a whole lot faster if you hold your applause, okay? You're going to be hearing about our guest speaker this evening, Vice Admiral David Dunaway, who oversees all of NAVAIR. So you'll be hearing more from him and hearing his introduction in just a few minutes. Also, our Board of Trustees are here. We have our board chair, Mike Middleton. We have our vice chair, Dorothea Smith. We also have with us other board members, Ted Harwood, Lois DiNatale, Julie Sickle, Dr. Janice Walthour, and Dr. John Roach. Also, we have with us on the stage two elected officials who are very, very supportive of the college, and that is Commissioner President from St. Mary's County, Jack Russell, and Commissioner Deborah Davis from Charles County, and we thank them for being here with us this evening. We have some very talented executive officers that work with the college. with us, and you're going to be hearing her quite frequently this evening, and that is Dr. Sue Subak, who's our Vice President of Academic Affairs. We also have Dr. Dan Mosser, who's the Vice President of Continuing Education and Workforce Development. For the Dean and Vice President of our Prince Frederick campus is Dr. Richard Fleming, and our Vice President and Dean of our Leonardtown campus is Dr. Tracy Harris. Our Vice President for Student and Instructional Support Services is Dr. Bill Comey. Our Vice President for Financial and Administrative Services is Tony Jernigan. Our Vice President and General Counsel is Craig Patnout. And last and certainly not least is our Vice President of Advancement, Michelle Goodwin. So if I could have a round of applause for everyone on the platform. And I don't want to forget, I'm going to be introducing him as well, Mike Green, who is the President of our Faculty Senate as well. Thanks, Mike. We have some guests in the audience. Some of them you will be meeting in a little bit. We have Mr. Joe Slater, CEO of SMECO, and we're going to be honoring him in just a few minutes with the Distinguished Trustee Award. And we're also going to be providing an award to MacArthur Jones. He's not able to be with us this evening, but his daughters are with us, and I'd like to recognize them, Judy Mackall and Lamone White. Thank you for joining us. We also have some elected officials. Frank Lancaster, who is Associate Judge of the Orphans Court, is with us this evening. A good friend of the college and also an alum of the college is Sheriff Rex Coffey, Sheriff of Charles County. We also have St. Mary's County State's Attorney Richard Fritz with us this evening. Julie Vanderslice is representing Delegate Peter Murphy, excuse me. We also have members of, let me just also say a great new friend of the college is the Interim Superintendent of Schools in Calvert County, and that is Nancy Highsmith. Thank you for joining us tonight. We also have members of the college's foundation with us this evening. The chair is Jay Lilly, and also with us is Greg Cockerham, and both of them are proud alums of the college as well. We have some student leaders with us in the audience as well, and they do such a wonderful job. Devereaux Smith and Charlotte Conley, thank you. We have the Chief Operating Officer for Calvert Memorial Hospital, and that is Dean Teague. And we have a great partnership with Calvert Memorial Hospital. Many of our nursing students will undergo their clinicals and be hired by the hospital. With the St. Mary's County Department of Aging, the director is Dr. Laurie Jennings Harris is with us this evening. We also have members of, I should have started right at the top with them, I apologize, but we have some school board members as well with us. A great friend of the college, who's one of our best recruiters, is Mary Washington from St. Mary's School District. And we also have another friend of the college, Michael Lucas, who's with the Charles County School Board. Thank you, Michael. We have a past member of the County Commissioners in Charles County, and who is now on the MHEC, or the Maryland Higher Ed Commission Board, and that's Dr. Edith Patterson is with us this evening. We have some advisory council meeting members. For the La Plata Campus Advisory Council, Swanice Hawkins is with us this evening. Thank you. Mangela Paul is with our Nursing Program Advisory Council. We also have Jerry Willie, who is on one of our program advisory councils, and also Dr. Mel Powell, who heads up the Southern Maryland Higher Ed Center. That's my list. I hope I haven't forgotten anybody or overlooked anybody, but please, a round of applause for our distinguished guests. Every year, the number of graduates at our commencements increase. They come because of the quality of the educational services we provide, because of our faculty, because of our staff, because of the curriculum, because it's a great place to start and complete an education. Tuition is reasonable. We're close to home. We have a wide range of course offerings, and and so many of our students are graduating without any debt. I don't know if you've been watching or listening to the news, but 70% of people graduating with a baccalaureate degree are graduating with a student loan. And the average student loan is almost $30,000. Our students are going to graduate either loan-free or with a very small loan, and they're very smart not to have that crushing burden on them. The number of graduates is 649 this evening. Now, they're not all with us this evening, closer to 200. Many of them are not able to be with us. Excuse me. I apologize. Foundation Director Barry Walrath is with us, a new member of our foundation board. Barry, thank you. Sorry about that. Over 200 of our graduates will be walking across the stage this evening. And it's a very diverse group. 40% live in Charles County, over 30% in St. Mary's County, and about 25% hail from Calvert County. The oldest graduate is 71 years old. And I'm going to tell you about her in just a little bit. The youngest graduate is 17 years old. And many, many ages in between, as you'll see as they march across the stage. Degrees are being awarded in 87 programs of study, 87. And the most frequent degree this evening that's being awarded is in general studies, followed by business administration, and then arts and sciences. And here we are this evening because it's all about our graduates. And we are here this evening to celebrate them and celebrate their achievements. It's a diverse group. It's a diverse group in terms of background, in terms of gender, ethnicity, in terms of goals. They come from so many different pathways. I'd like to spend a little time giving some examples of our graduates this evening. I mentioned that our oldest graduate is 71 years young. She's earning an associate degree in arts and sciences in a very tough area, and that's in mathematics and physics. Now, this is a woman who is not a stranger to higher education. She already received a baccalaureate degree in food science and nutrition from Brigham Young University in Utah. She has a master's degree in industrial and labor relations from Cornell University that she received years ago. But she decided to conquer a fear, and that was, what is the toughest subject that she had trouble mastering? So many of us, it's the same. It's math. She came back to the College of Southern Maryland to begin her college or continue her college career majoring in math. And let me tell you a little bit of what she said. She talked about how she mainly talked, and so many of her graduates, they don't talk about the administration. They don't talk about the facilities. They don't talk about costs. They talk about our faculty. They talk about the quality of our faculty. She enjoyed all of her professors because they were incredibly challenging. There's no gifts here. And yet kind and encouraging, and they wanted everyone to succeed. Small classes, personalized attention, that's what makes the College of Southern Maryland so special. She has 4 sons, and they responded to her in different ways. Imagine, you've got a mother who's in her late 60s, and she's going back to school for an associate degree. And one said, why would you be doing this? Another was inspired to the degree that he came back and matriculated in calculus, to give calculus another try. Another son is a mathematics instructor already, and she's going to lean on him when she comes back to CSM to take probably one of the toughest math courses there is, and that is linear algebra this spring. She's doing this for her, but she's also doing it for her grandchildren. And it's a message that none of us should ever downplay, and that is, you're graduating tonight. Some of you will go off and get a job. Some of you will continue your baccalaureate degree. But all of us, whether we have a degree or not, it needs to be lifelong learning. If you're not getting a degree, that's okay. But continuing to learn, continuing to question and wonder and have that curiosity. And so she's also doing it for her grandchildren. She wants to be a model for them as well, and she certainly is. That learning doesn't have to ever end. And at 71, what is she going to do? She's going to get a job in a middle school tutoring students in math. Isn't that wonderful? Our youngest student, as I said, is 17. This is a student who read about a program at Mary Baldwin College in Virginia, where students coming out of middle school could go right to Mary Baldwin and start their college education. And with the help of her 7th grade teacher, and her 7th grade teacher is with us tonight, Miss Wallant, and the consent of her parents, she entered that program after completing her studies at Milton Summers Middle School in Charles County. She spent a year and a half at Mary Baldwin College, and then she transferred to us, and tonight she's getting her associate degree. And she has many options for where she's going to transfer. But she had a wonderful experience here at the College of Southern Maryland, 17 years old, a bright future. Let me tell you about a couple of our nursing students. And this is a large program. It's one of our finest programs. Our students in nursing do very, very well once they graduate and go off and help others. One of our nursing students tonight is getting, actually she's still a nursing student, but she's getting her degree in pharmacy tech so she can get a job, a good paying job, while she completes her nursing degree. So she doesn't have to get that loan. Pretty smart. Another one, a graduate in the nursing program, came to CSM because she had a very sick daughter, and she saw the loving care and the compassion that nurses provided to her daughter, and she said, this is how I want to spend my life. And she's here tonight, and she's going to be helping others in a way that nurses helped her daughter. In terms of families, it's not unusual to have a mother and a daughter, or a mother and a son, or a father, and you know how it goes. Tonight, though, we have a mother, a son, and a daughter all graduating together, which is very unusual. Mom is getting a degree in early childhood education, the son in engineering, and the daughter is getting her degree in social sciences, and we're proud of all of them. Another one of our students had a very exciting fall semester. Our women's soccer team went to the national finals, one of only, I believe, 8 teams that had that honor, and she was the manager. She did so much to help support this team. It was a very, very busy fall, as you can imagine, for her. She'll never forget that experience. And she graduates this evening with an associate degree in applied science and technology. There are over 200 students here. I could tell you 200 stories, but we would be here long into the night. But this is simply, these are examples of our graduates. And as I indicated, everyone has a story, and we're so proud of each and every one of them. Each one has so much potential, and it is our responsibility to prepare them to be successful in achieving their future goals. One group that always impresses me, I was one that received my baccalaureate degree, my master's degree, my PhD degree. I finished my formal education at the age of 26. But you're going to see that most of our graduates are older. These are people who may have come out of high school and gotten a job, or may have started college and then stopped out and then came back. And our older, more mature I won't say more mature, but let me just say older graduates, oftentimes They've got a full-time job, they have family obligations, and they're coming to the College of Southern Maryland taking one class a semester, 2 classes a semester. Whereas if you go full-time, oftentimes you can do it in 2 years, 5, 6, 8 years. We've known some who it's taken 10 years to get their associate degree, but they persevere 1 foot in front of the next. And we're so proud of all of our graduates, but especially those that have persevered over so much adversity. One of the things that I always try to leave with our graduates is we're always here for you. Yes, we're sending you off into the world with an associate degree or a certificate, but we want to hear about your achievements. We want to hear about your successes. We want you to come to us if you need a shoulder to cry on. You've made some wonderful connections with faculty and staff who care about you. So please don't be strangers and always be part, because you're always going to be part of the CSM family. And now it gives me great honor to recognize Mike Green from our business program, but also who is the president of the Senate, the Faculty Senate, who has some words for you. Oh, I'll get that next. Okay, Mike?
Good evening. The College of Southern Maryland's vision is transforming lives through lifelong learning and service. In our mission statement, we declare that, quote, the college embraces lifelong learning, end quote. Today, we are celebrating the end of one adventure of your journey on the road of lifelong learning, and we expect the commencement of your next. This is why this event is called a commencement, a beginning. Why do we expect you'll continue on this road? We do so because we believe you instinctively know something very important about yourself that the ancient Greeks wrote about, and you know it even if you didn't have the good fortune to take a philosophy class. The oracle at Delphi pronounced that there is no one that is wiser than Socrates. This pronouncement eventually leads to the trial of Socrates in 399 BC and shortly after his execution. In the Apology, a defense of Socrates written by his student Plato, we are told the source of Socrates' wisdom. It comes from his knowledge of his ignorance. The wisest in the land is ignorant? How can this be? Socrates knew that he had specialized knowledge of philosophy, but lacked the same in many other subjects and areas. This curiosity to learn about these things, of which he had little or no knowledge, led him to spend a good part of his day walking around Athens, asking questions of those that had knowledge that he didn't. He engaged them in dialogues, conversations, until he was satisfied with his level of understanding. Then he moved on to the next encounter. Spending his days rectifying his ignorance meant that, in fact, no one was wiser than the wise Socrates. It was your knowledge of your own ignorance which sparked your curiosity and led you to CSM. Here, you read texts and then engaged your teachers and your fellow students in dialogues, all geared towards learning. You graduate today with specialized knowledge in a particular subject or area, such as engineering, homeland security, hospitality management, human services, or nursing. Besides classes that provided this specialized knowledge, you took classes that provided general knowledge in core learning areas like oral and written communication, scientific and quantitative reasoning, critical thinking, cultural awareness, information literacy, and technological competency. The wisest amongst you know that these general education classes only provided a survey of the knowledge contained within these disciplines. You know that more learning is needed. Lifelong learning means following the example of Socrates. We, the faculty, expect you'll continue to ask questions, to seek out information, to evaluate the quality of that information, and then to transform that information into knowledge and ultimately the wisdom needed for a good and virtuous life. The authors of the U.S. Constitution believe that our experiment in self-government is critically dependent on citizens doing just this. Today, we the faculty celebrates and congratulates you for concluding this stop on your journey of lifelong learning. Let us also today celebrate our collective ignorance, knowing that we are all in need of more learning and believing that we have the wisdom to have more learning dialogues and adventures. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I'd like to introduce two other partners that I overlooked. Lisa Bryant, who is the fairly new director of the Charles County United Way, is with us this evening. Lisa? And also a very special partner, not to the college, but to me. How do I forget my own wife? So I'd better recognize her if I want to sleep in my own bed tonight. My lovely wife, Linda Gottfried, is also with us this evening. Well, one of the honors that I have this evening is not only to recognize our graduates, but also to introduce our student speaker. To me, this is a very important part of the program, and tonight is no exception. Some of our students begin their college career right out of high school, as I mentioned before. Some stop out, some get a job and come back. It doesn't really matter. It's where they end up, hopefully sitting right where you're sitting this evening. Our student speaker did enroll in CSM right out of high school because his parents insisted. I don't know how many of our graduates are in that category. By the way, I started at a community college and because my parents insisted. And I am where I am today because they said, you're going to college. Our graduate speaker this evening had the same experience. His parents insisted that he continue his education at CSM. But he dropped out, took a detour to pursue a music career. But then he returned to CSM to complete his studies. And now he's on a trajectory that few could ever imagine of him, or probably even himself when he left us. Because he's been accepted by a prestigious Ivy League university. I think we've all heard about it, University of Pennsylvania. And that's quite an achievement to be accepted at the University of Pennsylvania, no matter where you're coming from. Some may know him best as Austin Cody. Tonight, it is my pleasure to introduce our graduate speaker, Austin C. Rick.
Good evening. Welcome, fellow graduates, faculty, family members, and distinguished guests. It is a great honor to stand here tonight and to celebrate our important achievement. As graduates, we have faced uncertainty and we have overcome challenges. Success demands rigor, determination, and perseverance. Achievements are not earned through luck or by way of wishful thinking, but rather by accepting challenges and rising above obstacles in the face of adversity. Graduation, for all of us, is a landmark step toward the realization of our dreams and aspirations. I would like to share a personal part of my own story. As I stand here tonight, a completely changed man from the first day that I ever set foot on CSM's campus. For as long as I can remember, music was my life. I was completely disinterested in college, and I wanted nothing to do with the boring, everyday workforce. I saw for myself a future far greater. During high school, I took extended excused absences so that I could travel to Nashville and work on my first studio album. For 5 years following high school, I traveled and I performed. I recorded music and I signed autographs, lots of them. I thought myself invincible. I called my own shots, and I answered to no one but myself. This world, these artificial realities in which I resided, would eventually come crashing down. I felt lost. I was a wandering soul. But then my life changed forever. In a chance conversation with my cousin Ashley, I was asked if I'd ever considered returning to school. I laughed. I didn't fit my own image of an undergraduate student. I was almost 26 years old, and undergraduate students were just out of high school. They were taking advantage of academic opportunities that I had already squandered. So I became enthralled at the idea of returning to school and starting anew, of reclaiming the time that I had frivolously tossed away. And so my journey began. When I stepped back into the CSM classroom, I was intimidated. With each class, I began to recognize my potential and also the support that CSM had to offer me. Everything hinges on perseverance. I completed my first associate's degree in criminal justice last summer, and I now stand here alongside each of you, ready to accept a second associate's degree in communication. To date, these achievements are my most cherished. No amount of brand endorsements or radio spins can touch them. Hard work pays off, but I did not get here without help. Like many of my fellow graduates, I have a few special professors who changed my life. Professor Judith Allen Leventhal. Thank you for molding me from a student who continually failed to understand comma splices into a solid writer. Dr. Richard Bilsker, who unfortunately could not be with us this evening, thank you for showing me the importance of thinking outside the box. And Dr. Christine Arnold-Laurie, I was terrified of your class and initially of you. I remember shaking my head while thinking to myself after the first day, this class is going to be the one class that I get a B in over my CSM career. I know it. But in hindsight, I can attest that your class made a letter grade seem completely irrelevant. I learned more than history from you. I learned to think critically and to appraise data independently and without outside influence. I would like to thank my parents, Earlene and Bill Rick, who are over there with us tonight. You are my heroes, my role models who have taught me what is most important in life. I love you. Among my favorite quotes, it's an anonymous quote. It follows, "The biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. Always make room in your life for improvement." We can make ourselves into whatever we wish. The formula is simple. Recognize possibility, envision success, and pursue relentlessly, and swing wide open the door to the biggest room in the world. Congratulations, and thank you.
Boston, that's going to be a hard act to follow. Congratulations. I'm Mike Middleton. It's my honor to be the chair of the Board of Trustees for the College of Southern Maryland. And before I introduce our speaker, I'd like to talk to the graduates for about 1 second. This is, of course, your moment in time, and I want to congratulate you all. You've worked very hard for this. But I want you to consider this moment as just a place on a circle of learning. I use this a lot when I talk to my employees. You're here on the circle. You must consider where you must go to complete your circle of learning. And you heard tonight from 17 to 71, and the circle is not yet completed. So this is your task. I encourage you to do so, and I think you'll do it very, very well. Now, someone who's done something very, very well is our next speaker. It's my honor to introduce Vice Admiral Dave Dunaway. He's the commander of the Naval Air Systems in Pax River. Admiral Dunaway is a 1982 graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, as well as 2 Masters of Science, one in Aviation Systems Management and the other in Aerospace Engineering. His personal decorations include the Distinguished Service Medal, the Legion of Merit, the Meritorious Service Medal, the Navy Marine Corps Commendations Medal, and the Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal. He has accrued more than 2,900 hours. I think it's an F-18, if I'm not mistaken. They go really fast. And 290 arrested carrier landings. Arrested carrier landings, the Admiral tells me, is when you stop. Did I get it correct? That's the banking term for a job well done. So we're always glad that his takeoffs and his landings matched. Admiral Dunaway has been successful in several distinguished positions throughout his career in the Navy. As mentioned earlier, he is now commander of Pax Rivers Naval Systems Command. In this position, he oversees military and civilian personnel in 8 locations in the United States and 1 site overseas. His leadership ensures that NAVAIR completes its mission, which is to provide a full life cycle support for naval aviation aircraft, weapons, and systems. Now, for our graduates tonight, listen carefully to the careers that his sailors and Marines have selected as they work for the Admiral during his command. Research, design, development and systems engineering, acquisition, test and evaluation, training facilities, equipment repair and modification, and this is a Navy's term, in-service engineering, and of course, logistical support. And for my favorite department, business and accounting, all of that financial reporting that has to go with these tasks reports directly to him and is under his purview. So with that, I would love for you to join me in welcoming Vice Admiral Dunaway.
Well, I didn't realize I was so important and powerful. I wish my wife was here to hear that. At home, I am the dance teacher's husband. So thank you all for being here tonight. Bradley, Mike, thank you all very much. This is a very cool night. It's nice to have so many distinguished visitors in the audience, and it's really important to have parents, family, friends, significant others, because the support infrastructure that goes with a graduate, we all know is an important part of being a graduate. Some of you have done it on your own, but largely you've done it because you had somebody behind you helping you out. Remember that, because at some point in your life, you'll be that person. It's an important artifact. And to the students, congratulations. It's a great event. It's a great event that is the very first step on that circle he was talking about. And so tonight I'm going to ask you to think about, what does it mean? Where are you going to take us today? Because we're handing the baton to you. This is you. We've had our run. Most of us are very chronologically challenged, as are some of your graduates, which is really impressive. I think that's fantastic that folks who have experienced the world are coming back to school. But the real question is, where are you going to take us with this education you've got? How are you going to use that? I can tell you where you're starting. You're starting in the greatest country in the world. There is absolutely no doubt about it that our standard of living, our safety, our security, the fact that we have individual liberties, the fact that our Constitution is based on the fact that you as individuals have the right to do what you want to do, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Look at the diversity of this crowd that's graduating today. Look at the fact that there's, I think, 67% of women graduating. There are countries in this world where women cannot go to school, period. Look at the men and women of color. Look at the Asian population. Look at the diversity. And nobody in this crowd thinks for a minute about it because it's normal to us. It's okay. It's not the way it is in the world. I think that's a fantastic part of what this country brings to the game. Our founding fathers were very smart. They put balance of forces in play. They have the legislative, executive, judicial branch. It keeps us in check, keeps us in balance, and keeps us focused on what's most important, and that is the individual liberty of each and every human. We have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We're entitled to opportunity. Those are very important words that I think you need to carry on. We do our best work when we work in a very balanced, respectful, and rational process. That's what we do our best work in. We do our best work when we're service-oriented, when we serve each other more than we serve ourselves. We do our worst work when we get greedy, when we want a little more than we really deserve, when we get entitled to prejudice. That's when we do our worst work. So the question is, where are you going to take us? How are you going to keep us on that path? The world's a crazy place right now. You know, technology is advancing at a pace that we just can't keep up with. There's a lot more computer processing power out there than we're using. Population's growing. Budgets are declining. We have a lot of regional instability. Iraq, Iran, North Korea, Syria. The world is a crazy place. And then you look at home and we have this great political polarity, and we're watching it play in living color day by day. Now, all that sounds disastrous and difficult, but I tell you, I am an optimist. I think that this country is poised very well, even in the political polarity that we're enjoying right now, to emerge stronger than we've ever been before. And largely, I believe that that's going to happen because of you, because we have this group that's graduating today. So my advice to you comes in three forms. This is really important, and you have to remember this, and I'm sure you will. Tribalism, oysters, and buffalo herds. That's what's important, right? Tribalism. All right, so I know that many of you in this crowd are much like me, a Dallas Cowboy fan. I am a member of the Dallas Cowboy fan club, right? See? Only to be right now, I'm a pathetic friend of the Dallas Cowboy fans because we are horrible. But by God, I'm a Cowboy fan. Many of you in this crowd are Redskin fans. And yeah. And we could have a heated debate about who is better. And we would, in fact, have a heated debate about who's better, because we would retreat into our tribes and we would bow up and we would fight for our cause. But the minute we started to talk about the Winter Olympics that's getting ready to happen in Sochi, we'd all unite, right? The Cowboy fans and the Redskin fans be standing arm in arm to defend the United States, because that's our bigger tribe. That's a real important concept that you've got to understand. It's real important that diverse groups are really worth having. It's okay to have diversity and difference of opinion. It's okay for you to have an allegiance to one small tribe and allegiance to a larger tribe. It's real important that you remember that. Second, oysters. Now, oysters are that little barnacle-encrusted succulent object that we eat in the wintertime, any month with an R in it, right? Now, I understand you can eat them in months without an R because they ship them in here, but I love oysters. And when I look at an oyster that sits in the water and filters fish droppings, I think about, who was the first person that decided to try and crack that little succulent oyster open and eat that handkerchief residue that sits in there, right? Who did that? Because that person is the kind of person I want on my team. That person had bold and innovative ideas as they went forward. They did not see the crust. They did not see the slime. What they saw was something that was new and different and worthy of a try. That's what they saw when they looked at that. Bold and innovative, curious people. That's an important part of life. And lastly, buffalo herds. I don't know if you've ever seen a buffalo herd run, but there's always a lead buffalo, and lead buffalo changes quite frequently. But in a buffalo herd, if one buffalo stumbles, it gets a big old mess and a pileup, and it is an absolute mess. The lesson in buffalo herds comes in two forms. One's, if you're a lead buffalo, follow a path that keeps your herd from running off a cliff. That's an important thing. If you're a following buffalo, don't fall down. Keep up. Because if you don't, the herd's going to run over you and trample you. And that's a real good analogy for the way life goes. So tribalism is very much about healthy competition. It's about acceptance. It's about enjoying diversity, seeing what other folks do, taking heart in it, trying to find the win-win solution. That's what tribalism is about. Too frequently we make it win-lose. It's got to be win-win as you work through it. Oysters are about learning, about innovation, about being bold, about seeking to understand something that might look crusty and ugly on the outside. Buffalo herd's about being a good leader. If you're in the front of the pack, be a good leader. Think about what you're doing. You've got a lot of people behind you. If you're a follower, be a good follower. That's okay to be a follower. I've been a follower all my life, right? You're always behind somebody at some point. Be a good leader, be a good follower. So here we are, class of 2014, the winter commencement. And the question is, where are you going to take us? What are you going to do for us in this country? We're in a very exciting, dynamic time. There's a lot of room for improvement. A lot of change is going to happen in your lives. What are you going to do for us? CSM is a great start. I love the concept of taking kids right out of high school and sending them through a community college and getting them 2 years of stability, getting them 2 years of foundation, getting them an associate's degree, starting off on a career path, maybe going off to a university, maybe coming out of a life of raising children and doing work where you come back and get an education. Continuous learning. This is a fantastic opportunity. Don't squander it. Use it for us. And I have stolen these last two final thoughts from our Chief of Naval Operations, who is a very bright man. And his last two thoughts that he spoke at the Naval Academy graduation in 2012 when my son graduated are two things. One, wear sunscreen. And two, when you're away from home, call your mother. Don't forget those. So I thank you all for doing what you've done for this country. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate the fact that the faculty is supported, family is supported. This is a wonderful event. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.
I wasn't expecting that. That was quite an analogy. I like that. I have to remember this a little bit. Now, it's my honor to move to the next section of our program, which is our Distinguished Service Awards. And the College of Southern Maryland's Board of Trustees recognizes individuals who have performed exemplary service to the college or to our region. Tonight, our first recipient is Mr. MacArthur Jones, whom we fondly call him Mac. And Mac, as you know, is not able to join us tonight due to his health. But two of his daughters, and it's Judy Makel, and also, I'm going to get it right. Dorothy, help me here. Lamont White. She said, stretch it out. It's Southern. Lamont White. They're here tonight. So, ladies, can I invite you up to the podium? Thank you so much. Actually, Dorothea had called Mac at the end of the board meeting, and she was going to let Mac tell me exactly how to pronounce your name. But then I got called away, and then Dorothy and I got separated, so it's my fault. I'm sorry. Or it's her fault. Mac was an educator in Calvert County public school system for more than 30 years, and his activities still resonate there today. He served on the College Board of Trustees from 2003 to 2013, serving as vice chair from 2007 to 2009. He also served as a trustee liaison to the CSM's Foundation Board on 2008 to 2010. During this time, the foundation launched its 50th anniversary major gifts campaign with a goal of raising $5 million. With Mac's support on the foundation board, it exceeded its goal and raised $7.7 million. Mr. Jones has been a solid rock at this college. He is always there when you need him, and his wisdom helps shape the direction and the future of the College of Southern Maryland. It's for this quiet leadership that we thank him for his many years of service. So it's with great respect that I, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, award the Distinguished Service Award to the finest gentleman I think we've known, Mr. MacArthur Jones. Our second honoree is Mr. Joseph Slater. Joe, would you please? Boy, he's already here. Now, this is I think you're familiar with this platform, Joe. Joe's a 1974 alumnus of CSM, formerly the Charles County Community College. And so he was sitting right here where you were. Once he got out of high school, he immediately got his first job and realized that an education was essential for his success. And so, like many of you, he worked very many long hours during the day, and he came to the college at night with his muddy boots and his work clothes to pursue his education. He credits this college for much of his success. Now, Joe is now the president and CEO of Southern Maryland Electric Co-op, one of the largest co-ops in the nation, with $500 million in assets, 150,000 customers, and how many J.D. Powell Excellent Awards? 6 J.D. Powell Excellence Awards. He's been a great friend of the college. Joe most recently served as chairman of this board in 2012 and 2013. He has served on the board for 5 years. And after he left the board without missing a beat, he immediately joined the CSM Foundation. CSM continues to benefit from Joe's expertise. He's a valued member of the audit committee, and while as board's chair, he worked very closely with our president, Brad Gottfried, on planning the new regional campus in Hughesville. Although no longer on the board, Joe continues to work on a project as a member of an ad hoc committee. He's also been a very strong proponent for his employees to attend CSM to receive their associate degree. Currently, Joe is working with CSM for the development of a lineman program that will provide jobs to many in Southern Maryland, and most importantly, allow them to get their training here in Southern Maryland. Joe has been a generous supporter of the college. He established an endowed memorial scholarship honoring his son, Neil. He is also leaving a legacy gift of $100,000 that will fund a large tiered classroom in our new Community Foundation building. That classroom will be named for his son, Neil. In his position at Southern Maryland Electric, Mr. Slater has also helped establish an engineering scholarship on behalf of Southern Maryland Electric for $100,000. And lastly, true to his personality, I would like to mention that Joe has partnered with CSM to choose Civility campaign. So soon, you will see on all those wonderful Southern Maryland Electric trucks that get even more wonderful as the weather gets worse, the Choose Civility decal. We're so grateful to have such a committed and dedicated alum in Joe Slater. And as you can see, when he gives it all. So Joe, please accept this token of our gratitude for your distinguished service to the College of Southern Maryland. And as all good chair do, they make mistakes. So I forgot something. To the gentleman who made 290 successful landings and takeoffs, or takeoffs and then landings, I would like to present a small token. Dr. Godfrey?
We, the members of the faculty, thank you, the candidates for certification and graduation, for giving us this time in your ceremony to recognize the recipient of this academic year's Faculty Excellence Award, honoring adjunct faculty. This award process begins with the full-time faculty nominating adjunct faculty members who they feel deserve this recognition. Nominees submit an application describing their achievements and accomplishments in the areas of classroom teaching, institutional responsibility, professional development, and community commitment. Members of the Faculty Excellence Award honoring Adjunct Faculty Committee, currently chaired by Professor Ellen Wright Lopez, review each application and assign a numerical value to each of these areas. The nominee earning the highest cumulative score is awarded the recipient. For the academic year 2013-2014, the Faculty Excellence Award honoring adjunct faculty goes to Yvette M. Dodson of the Social Sciences, Human Services, and Teacher Education Division. Yvette, come on up. You can come stand by me if you want. Ms. Dodson is in her 16th year teaching in our early childhood development program. Ms. Dodson has developed most of the materials in the courses she teaches. These courses have been developed and are taught based not only on her experience with children, she's a mother of 7, but on her research and understanding of brain-based learning theory and universal design for learning. Ms. Dodson states that these concepts have inspired strategies that she uses to reach students with various learning styles and levels of professional development. She believes that these techniques provide opportunities for regular student input, professional collaboration, and reflective practice. Clearly, her students agree. One said, quote, "Ms. Dodson is very energetic and has a wealth of knowledge and freely shares it with others. I truly enjoyed learning about infants and toddlers. I have a greater appreciation for young children. I am using what I have learned in this class to help others understand the developmental stages and temperament of these children. Caregivers are not just babysitters. They mold a child's character," end quote. Another said, quote, "I think she has so much experience and has brought so much knowledge to share. She was born to teach. I really enjoyed this class," end quote. In her nomination letter, Professor Mary Hunt sounded a similar theme, stating that Eve's, quote, "willingness to share her ideas, research, and what she has developed for her courses with others is one of her most valuable traits as a part-time faculty member," end quote. This willingness is seen in the numerous conferences at which Eve has presented her work. Just last week, I was fortunate to choose and to attend a session she offered at the annual conference of the Association of Faculties for the Advancement of Community College Teaching. I will likely use a strategy or two I learned to supplement my lectures this semester. Besides being committed to the success of her students and CSM, Eve is also committed to the Southern Maryland community, particularly in Calvert County. She has set up and directs an outdoor childcare program, Tot Lot, for Cub Scout summer camp, has organized and directed a church youth band at Calvary Bible Church, and is very active in local homeschooling groups, having conducted basketball and tennis instruction and organized, directed, and proctored standardized achievement and IQ testing. So for these reasons and more, it is with great pleasure that the full-time faculty recognizes Yvette M. Dodson as the 2013-2014 recipient of the Faculty Excellence Award, honoring adjunct faculty. Thank you for your time and attention.
And Yvette gets another award. This is the second commencement that the Educational Systems Federal Credit Union has provided a cash award to the recipient of our Faculty Excellence Award. They understand the centrality of faculty in the progress and goal completion of our students. So congratulations, Yvette. Well, graduates, are you ready? Okay. But before you begin, if you would open your program, all of you, let me explain that there is some interesting information within it, and that is that there are 3 levels of honors that are indicated by letters following the graduates' names in your program, and they will also be recognized. These are individuals who have earned at least a 3.5 or higher. You're also going to see some colorful golden stoles. You're probably wondering, what are they all about? These are graduates who have been inducted into Phi Theta Kappa, our National Honor Society, with grade point averages of 3.5 or higher, and they have been actually elected to that honor society. You see some students who have blue and white cords, and they are members of our National Student Nursing Association. There are also students that have blue cords without the white, and they're members of the National Society of Leadership and Success. And whether someone has a stole or a cord or an initial next to their letter next to their name, doesn't really matter. You're all very special to us. So congratulations, graduates. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Sue Subak.
Will the candidates for certification and associate's degrees please come forward? First, Mr. Chair, Mr. President, I present the candidates for certification. The faculty certify with this document that the following candidates have attained significant achievement and competence in their chosen careers. We now confer the certificates in information processing. Timothy Michael Clifton. We now confer the certificates in information services technology. Anthony Keith Gowans. We now confer the certificates in management development. Monica M. Johnson. We now confer the certificates in medical coding specialist. Jan Capozzi, highest honors. Leslie Ann Harris. Jacqueline S. Windsor. We now confer the certificates in pharmacy technician. Anisha Donchelle Asbury. Catherine Renata Pope, highest honors. J. A. Sullivan. Mr. Chair, Mr. President, I present for the associate's degree the candidates who have been approved by the faculty and whose names appear on the official list. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in accounting. Glenda Manessis Austin. Elsie Beth Chaporis. Janicia Euphemia Furtado. Mauricio Alejandro Garcia, honors. Melissa Lynn Gregan. Brooke Higgs Turner. Crystal M. Eisman. Nishay L. Jennifer, highest honors. Christina Nelson. Sarah Elizabeth Farmer, high honors. Lauren Ashley Pettyplace, honors. Allison Paige Simpson. Kyle Joseph Skelly. John Michael Songer. Zachariah E. Weaver. Jason William Woltz, honors. Soren Roberts Wood. We now confer the Associate of Science degrees in Business Administration, Technical Management. Julie Marie Birch. William Anthony McAloon. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Criminal Justice. Tanya Clark, honors. Krista Ray Cote, highest honors. Rainan Renford Remdiao. We now confer the Associate of Arts degrees in Digital Media Production. Samantha Michael Wright. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Early Childhood Development. Christina Jedry, honors. Gladys Virginia Thomas. Donna Turner, honors. Prochet Ramon Holland, high honors. We now confer the Associate of Arts in Teaching, Early Childhood Education. Miranda Morgan Carter. Agatonica Medina Romero. We now confer the Associate of Arts in Teaching degrees in Early Childhood Education, Generic Special Education, Birth through Grade 3. Deron Bernard Taylor. We now confer the Associate of Science and Engineering degrees in Electrical Engineering. William Hamill, highest honors. We now confer the Associate of Arts in Teaching degrees in Elementary Education. Jacqueline Marie Montague. We now confer the Associate of Arts in Teaching degrees in Early Elementary Education, Generic Special Education, grades 1 through 3. Brooke A. Garner. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Emergency Medical Services. Sonia Marie Gorman. We now confer the Associate of Science degrees in Engineering. Kirsten Ann Herman. Peter Francis Kelly. Furkan Dawood Qureshi. Paul Romero, Jr., high honors. We now confer the Associate of Science degrees in Engineering Technology, Drafting. Megan R. Flickinger. We now confer the Associate of Arts degrees in General Studies. Shantae Bridges. Stephanie Amber Johnson. Kelsey Lee Basulto. Devonte Jarrell Briscoe. Hannah Eileen Donaldson, high honors. Shanice J. Downey. Sherry Lee Frisco, high honors. Jeffrey Allen Gagnon. Sharniqua Nicole Glenn. Keep your hat on. Janae Unique Guyon. Kenneth Tyrone Hemsley Jr. Destiny Tyronda Jordan. Kanawa Lynn Mack. Karen Stephanie Monhay. Sierra Nohea Ridley. Ellen B. Scott, High Honors. Brandy Nicole Sofield. Brianna C. Tate. Christian Vieira de Andrade. We now confer the Associate of Arts degrees in General Studies Communication. Sherbrooke Lee Carson, highest honors. Austin C. Rick, highest honors. We now confer the Associate of Arts degrees in General Studies Criminal Justice. Demetrius Trayvon Boone. Angelica Janet Brown, honors. Monique S. Harris, high honors. Lorraine R. Lyford. Michael Joseph Delano Mahone. Monique Jonte Mason. Carrie Lynn Nelson. Eric John Vendemia. Jamal Eugene T. Williams. We now confer the Associate of Arts degrees in General Studies English. Jeremy Dwayne Lambert. Amy Shaw. Megan Stempin. We now confer the Associate of Arts degrees in General Studies Environmental Management. Amy Michelle Nelson. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Homeland Security. Willette Latrice Onachila. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Hospitality Management. Tia B. Dickerson. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Human Services. Shelby C. McKimmey. Lynn L. Williams. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Information Services Technology, Microsoft Certified Windows Network Administrator, Kian Renard Smith. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Information Services Technology, Philip Raymond Foster, Honors. Megan Giraldo. Luis A. Perez, Honors. Timothy Terrence Strong. Amber Renee Williams. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Management Development, Gerald M. Butler, Jr. Brittany T. Herod. Susan C. Wood. Robin Marie Woodland. We now confer the Associate of Applied Sciences degrees in Nuclear Engineering Technology, Mechanical, Mark Stephen Mahan. We now confer the Associate of Science degrees in Nursing, Ashley Nicole Alder. Adrian Brachelarge Viejo. Megan Noel Bryant. Carrie Ann Catalan, High Honors. Kelly Lynn Cooper Roach. Pia Marion Evans. Carly Danielle Good. Shelby A. Jacobs. Alexandra Marie Jacoby. Erica Janelle Cottrell. Stephanie Lynn Lancaster. Danielle Monet Legerton. Amy Jean Lehman. Crystal Marie Valentin Mabanta. Jessica C. McGuire. Amanda Shannon Mattingly. Angela Marie Padone. Brooke Nicole Rawlings. Christina Tran. Erin Lee Ann Watkins. Terry Lynn White. Christina L. Whitaker. Billy Joe Wickstrand. We now confer the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Paralegal Studies, Alexis Dominique White. We now confer the Associate of Arts degrees in Teacher Education, Secondary, Eric Christian Hendricks.
Would all of the graduates please rise? By virtue of the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the award to which you have been recommended, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, which throughout the land pertain to those certifications and degrees. In testimony whereof you have received this award of the college, officially signed and sealed. Graduates, change your tassels.
Will the faculty please rise? In recognition of your scholarly achievement, we, the faculty, salute you and wish you Godspeed.
Okay, and also, while the faculty and staff are standing, please, a round of applause for our faculty who have done such a wonderful job, who are so committed. Thank you. Well, this completes a very special program, something that we all look forward to, and I don't think we'll ever forget this evening. I'd like all of you to please rise and remain standing during the recessional. And after everyone has recessed, I hope you'll join us in the Business Industry Room 113 for a reception. Good cake and good fellowship, and hope to see you in BI 113. So audience, please remain in your seats. Thank you.